G'day guys, where's York back for York Talk, everything sales and business. And I want to say an absolute thank you to every single person. Last week was an absolute massive episode. The response last week was absolutely huge and it's the best response we've had by far on any York Talk. You know, we talked about how to really smash your career, how to smash your goals and actually break through last week. And so this week we're going one step further this week in the sense where to get anywhere in life, you need to be able to make decisions. You know, you need to be able to sit there and have enough education within yourself, have enough knowledge about where you want to go, and you need to be able to make those decisions to be able to get, you know, to the desired outcome. Here's the thing though, you know, we know someone on a daily basis that struggles to make decisions. You know, we got that person, right, who always sits on the fence. You know, they can never make a bloody decision, and at the end of the day, it hinders them far more because the inability to make a decision than making a wrong decision or a missed decision. So, you know, we want to talk today about, you know, why people don't make decisions, how it actually affects them when they don't make decisions, and why in life we need to be able to be a decision maker and actually stand beside our decisions and really be able to move forward. So we want to discuss this further because if we don't make decisions, we never actually move forward. So making actual decisions when it comes to business, your career, you know, your income, your financial state and everything like that is really important. So today I'm going to look at a few different ways to help us out, and also let us look at what the consequences are if we don't actually make those decisions. So, you know, I want to thank, you know, Phil Lowe, who's the director of 18 Degrees, which is the natural mineral water, the pure perfection of Fiji is actually what it is. If you don't have this in your shops, or if you don't have it in your work, in your business, in your office, then you're missing out. This is by far the best mineral water going out there. So Phil, I want to say thanks, mate. This is absolutely fantastic, and your team's doing an absolute marvelous job there. That's 18 Degrees if you don't have it. So let's look at decision and decision making process. And I've got 5 points which I want to cover today. And remember, now we made the decision as an organisation here at Sales Coaching International that at 1 p.m. every single Tuesday we're going to bring York Talk to you. That was our decision and we stuck with it, and every single week now at 1 p.m. on the dot we come to you with York Talk, with everything sales and business, which is all about pressing matters, what our clients want. They email us in, they send us direct messages, they give us a call and say, you know what, Wes, can you do the episodes on this, for example? So we're bringing you information up to date with what you guys want. But we made that decision and it's time consuming, but guess what? It's absolutely brilliant because you get the information from, you know, the end user's perspective to be able to push through and go, you know what, this is what we're doing this week, this is the decisions we're making, this is the information you get, this is the training we get, and you can actually start to formulate strategies around all that. So the first thing we want to talk about today is, you know what, how about we just make a bloody decision? You know, let's stop fence sitting. Let's stop worrying about what could happen or what won't happen. Let's stop worrying about, oh, if I go this way, then this might happen. You know, let's just start making a decision. You know, like I reckon I've lost, in a personal experience, I've lost more money over my time because I never made a decision. You know, I've lost money because of the fact that I didn't actually act on something. You know, so that indecision cost me an absolute fortune in certain situations, you know, compared to maybe I've made a wrong decision and I've lost on that, but that is so minor compared to the inaction and the decisions that I didn't make. You know, like you can always rectify something that you made a decision that was wrong because we learn from that, right? And then when we get put into that scenario and that circumstance, then we know the right direction. So that's a learning experience, and that, you know, what may have cost you money previously is nothing more than maybe education. But the inability to act and to make that decision is going to cost you an absolute fortune moving forward because you actually didn't learn anything from it. You know, so the inability to make decisions is going to cost you more in the long run than actually making a decision, whether it be right or wrong. You know, I'd rather make a wrong decision than a right decision than not make a choice or a strategy to start with. So the first point is, let's just start making decisions, because let's go back to when we all started to learn to drive. We couldn't drive really well, we'd make mistakes, but as time went on, we got better and better because we understood how to drive. We knew how to use the accelerator, the brake, the gear stick. We learned how to use everything, but when we first did it, we did it wrong. But we made a decision. We learned to stop in time and things like that. And business and careers and financial is exactly the same. And it's all about the learning process and the experience. You have people who go to university to 4 years. And if you're looking, the budget comes out tonight in Australia, and they're looking to increase the fees on universities. So people are going to make a decision to go to university, right? And they reckon that a 4-year medical degree now is going to cost no more than, I think it was $75,000. So they're going to make a decision to spend $75,000 on a degree, and at least they made a decision. Is it the right decision? That's up for that person there. But here's the thing. At the end of that, what have they got? Then they need to make another decision. Do they go and study again? But here's the thing. If they actually don't make that decision, where they end up? Who knows where they're, unemployed, who knows, traveling, who knows what that. But let's make a decision. And even if we get it wrong and we change degrees, we've got that stepping stone. We're moving forward. We're making that choice. The second thing we want to talk about here is the ability and the talk about whether we get why are we making the decision. So let's talk about we've made the decision, but what is the reasoning behind this decision? So in the 60s, they did some research which was called the Marshmallow Effect, and the research talks about they got some kids, they put them in a room, and they had to sit out 15 minutes. If they didn't want to sit the 15 minutes, they received 1 marshmallow. If they could sit out the 15 minutes, then they'd actually receive 2 marshmallows. And a lot of the room took the 1 minute, 2 minute, grab the marshmallow, and only received 1. So they took self-gratification over, immediate gratification over a 15-minute wait to get 2 marshmallows. Now, that was in the 60s, and when they go back and look at them now, the people who took the marshmallows within the minute and actually only took the 1 and took the immediate gratification are far poorer than the people who were able to strategize, wait the 15 minutes out, even though they were a kid, and receive the 2 marshmallows. So what does that tell us about decision making? We need to make sure we have the strategies and goals in place so we understand, the decisions that we're making. We need to make sure that the decisions we make aren't just, short-term, immediate, especially when we're talking about our business, our careers, our financial state, where we want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years' time. We need to make sure the decisions we make now are going to be congruent when it's 5 or 10 years down the track. And it sometimes doesn't matter how we get there because the road or the map might change, but we understand where that outcome is. So if we look at that marshmallow effect, it was instant gratification. Let me get that marshmallow right now. Or let me strategize it. Let me make the decision to wait, knowing that in 15 minutes I'm actually going to receive double the reward. And in a lot of cases, you see that when staff have started new careers, that they apply for 15, 20, 100 jobs, and it's always the way where you wait a month or 2 months, and then all of a sudden you end up with 2 or 3 different offers. You need to sit down and strategically look at which position and which career you're going to take. But then once you've made that decision, you need to stick to it. Because what happens if you take the instant gratification is your decision-making process changes all the time. And so you may run this way and then you may run that way. And when you start to doubt those decisions that you make, it may as well have just been an indecision because we don't have that end game. We don't have the goals. We don't have the strategy. So when you sit there and look at the outcome, whether it be 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, is the decision you're making now going to align with where you want to be in the future? And the marshmallow effect is really great because the fact that, when they look at the statistics now, people who took that instant gratification, they're far poorer and they kept it really broad. But, we're all educated people who listen to these, they say this podcast, depending on where you're listening this or on Facebook Live now, we understand, people who do take instant gratification are far less educated to a sense, when they look at their long-term and their future than people who can actually strategically look at it, make the decision for the long term, and they understand their game plan. Those people more often are going to win out. The third thing we want to look at is education. Everyone can make decisions. Everyone can not make a decision. What we need to make sure is we make more accurate and correct decisions as time goes on. Now, the inability to make decisions isn't really the inability to make not make a decision or make a decision. What people are scared and fearful of is actually making the wrong decision. That's why people don't make those decisions. That's why they sit on the fence, because they're scared to make a wrong decision. So we need to make sure we educate ourselves continually. So therefore, when we get put in a situation where we need to make a choice and we need to make a decision, we can more often than not make an accurate decision. So if you look at, for example, what we do at Sales Coaching International, we've designed the Elite Sales Club, which is renowned as one of the best sales platforms in the world. It gives our clients and the users the ability to go and educate themselves on everything from basic sales and, when clients give you objections, how to overcome them. If you want to sell via the phone, do you want to make a decision whether you want to cold call or work on inbound leads? We also have education courses where we take people from management into being actual leaders instead of just being, the everyday blow job, manager who really can't lead a team and get the great results. So we designed this platform so we can give this education. So in a sales scenario, in a business scenario, whether it's sales, marketing, business, you're going to have that education to be able to make decisions more accurately. So therefore you get the outcome that is required and desired. It also aligns with your short and your long-term strategic plans. So therefore you can get your revenues up, you can get your profits up, you can expand, you can do what you want. So what it does what the Elite Sales Club allows individuals and business owners is to educate themselves. So when they come into a point where they need to make decisions, they're more often educated better, so they're making more accurate decisions. So education is absolutely critical. And let's go back to, say, the Marshmallow Effect. And you look at, for example, the Gary V's in the world who are absolute fantastic, who he talks a lot about, instead of going out on weekends, which is instant gratification, and spending time with his friends, he was working, he was learning, he was educating himself now. And look, 15 years down the track, I guarantee every single one of those friends that are there back then wish they were where he is today, because he didn't take the instant gratification. Let's just do this right now and worry about the rest later. He sat there and he understood where he wanted to be. He understood that he could give more to himself, his organization, and to everyone else around him. So he had that strategic plan and he educated himself, and now look at the outcome. But everyone wants to be here, but no one wants to walk that course. Everyone wants to live the sizzle reel of, say, Gary Vee, but they don't want to do the 15, 20 years of hard work that it took to get there. But what it was, there was no instant gratification. It was all about, here's my strategic plan. I understand the decisions I'm making because I'm going to educate myself, and I know this is where I'm going to get to. And it may have happened in 10 years or 15 or 20. It might have happened in 30 years, but he understood the course which he was going. The fourth thing I want to talk about here is, if you don't make decisions for yourself, someone else is going to make them for you. So let me talk about this. If you don't actually sit there and make a choice and make a decision, someone else is ultimately at the end of the day going to make that for you. And do you want that outcome? Do you want that decision made for you? Because if you sit there and sit on the fence, at some stage you're going to have to go either way. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but at some stage you're going to need to choose and take a side or make a decision in some capacity. But previously, before that, someone's made it for you because you had to act sooner or later. So at the end of the day, you can sit there and not make a decision, which is worse than making a wrong decision. And when you do that, someone else will make it for you. Do you want that? Just spend a second thinking about that. If I don't make the decision, someone else will make them for me. And if you go back and look through the last 6 months, 3 months, 12 months, every single time that you sat on the fence or didn't make that decision, I guarantee someone has made that decision for you, and you've gone down that path, which walks into the next and the last and the final point. The reason why people don't make decisions, other than the fact that, they don't want to get the wrong decision, is also because of the fact that they don't want to challenge the status quo. So what happens is, because every single person is walking down the street to the right, I should walk down the street to the right as well. So therefore, they don't want to challenge the status quo. But here's the thing. Every single leader that we know has challenged the status quo, hence why they are where they are today. But let's take it not so much from a top level. Let's go back down to your everyday corporation. You know what? There's bitching and moaning. There's backstabbing in every business. You know, you hear the comments, oh, this person's crap because they didn't respond to the meeting request. And there's backstabbing and crapping on because the simplest things. But what it does, it creates animosity within a workforce. So if you're going to have that level and it's in every single business and organisation, what's it matter if we challenge the status quo at the end of the day? What's it matter if we make the decisions, whether they be right or wrong? Because at some stage, we can't keep every single person happy. You know, you look at, for example, you look at the Steve Jobs, who was pretty hard as a CEO. And now you look at all young entrepreneurs, and Gary Vee says this, well, everyone thinks they need to be like Steve Jobs, but you just got to be yourself. But he did challenge the status quo, but now everyone thinks they need to be like that, which is inaccurate. We need to make sure we challenge the status quo. We're not going to get to where we want to be in our own potential if we don't challenge our own status quo. So we don't want to just make decisions because everyone's walking in that direction. You know, we don't want to sit there and not make decisions and allow someone else to make the decisions for us. So the challenge in the status quo to me is really critical, especially if you know your game plan and you know your strategies and know where you want to be. The reason why people don't challenge the status quo is because they actually don't have that goal. They don't understand, you know, the why they go to work or why they open their own business. You know, they don't have enough, you know, moving forward their strategy where they want to be in 5 years, 10 years time. They don't understand it. They need to sit down and actually spend a few days really planning their strategies and their structure and where they're going to kind of end up. And it might go this way, but they understand where their ultimate end goal wants to be. And when they actually get there, they change it anyway and they move forward. You know, I always talk about goals. You know, just when you're about to hit your goal, you've probably changed it and extended it anyway. But what it does, it gives you the platform and the direction and the runway of where you're moving and where you're heading to. So to me, decisions in business, in finances, in your career are critical to make decisions. Like I said, I'd rather make a wrong decision than no decision. I'd rather sit there and make a wrong decision because of the fact that I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to educate myself. Even if I lose money, it's like going to university. You know, all I've done is learn from that process. So the next time I get faced that same situation, I understand the direction and the decision that I need to make. You know, we spoke about making sure that it's not instant gratification that we're looking for. If you're looking for an instant result, then you don't have your game plan and your structures set up well enough. And you're going to make incorrect decisions when it's based purely on an instant gratification. So you need to go there and structure your own goals, your own strategies. You need to structure where you want to be in 12 months, 24 months, etc., and really plan that out. Otherwise, you're going to consistently make wrong decisions and you're going to be like a ping pong ball in a jar just bouncing around all the place and wonder in 12 months' time why you actually haven't moved forward. We need to educate ourselves more. We need to make sure we spend time on a daily basis educating ourselves, and that's why we designed the Elite Sales Club. This is why we do York Talk every single Tuesday at 1 p.m. to bring you this information. If you want to know more about the Elite Sales Club, you know, give us a call here at the office. Just jump onto, you know, wesyorksales.com. We've got the 1300 number at the top. Give us a call, send us an email. You know, one of the team here will run you through exactly how it works and the education on it and what you're going to get out of it. It's really critical. So make sure you educate yourself, because the better education you got, the more accurate your decision-making process is going to be. We need to make sure that we understand that if we don't make the decision, someone else is going to make the decision for us. Ultimately, at the end of the day, a decision will be made, and if someone else is making the decision for you, more often than not, it's not going to help you and it's not going to get you where you want to be. And the last thing is, people don't make decisions because of the fact that they don't want to challenge the status quo. We need to make sure that we are challenging the status quo. We need to make sure that we understand where we are heading. Otherwise, we can challenge the status quo, but we're only doing it to have an argument. But we need to understand where we're going, what we're doing, and understand our own direction there. So today was about decision making, guys. And you know what? We make decisions every single day. A lot of people don't make decisions because of the fact that they don't want conflict. But guess what? At the end of the day, there's conflict going to happen anyway. I can make the simplest decision now and someone's going to be happy and someone's not going to be happy. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm the one that needs to be happy. I've got to do it ultimately for myself, because if I can make myself happy, or I can sit there and say I want to make the team happy, then my clients are going to be happy. So understand the goals we're talking about. But that's it, guys. My name is Wes York. This is York Talk, Everything Sales and Business. Again, we come to you at 1 o'clock every single Tuesday, Australian Eastern Standard Time. You know what? And what I want you to do between now and next Tuesday, have a look at your game plan. Have a look at your strategy for the next, go 3, 6, 12 months. Let's go short term and let's see if the decisions we're making today align where you want to be in 12 months' time or 6 months' time, or even say 2 years' time if you've got some strategies around that. Because when you have that alignment and that goals, the decision-making process seems to come a little bit easier and a little bit clearer because of the fact that there's not so much, the grey area isn't there. You understand the train tracks that you're in and you understand the goal and the destination where you're heading and where you want to be. So my name is Wes York. I hope you love this episode, everything about making decisions. And next time you're out and someone can't make a decision, have a bit of a laugh and get them to watch this episode. It's going to be up on YouTube. It'll be on podcast, it'll be on iTunes. So it'd be easy to share for every single person. And like it, share it, comment, send in me a direct message. If you want something for next week or the week after, flick me a message, give me a call, give the office a call here, and we'll chuck it into the schedule. And, hopefully we can sit there and do an episode on what you're after. So I'm Wes York, and everyone have an absolute cracking day.